Alrighty, let's see. Seems like everything is working good. Hello, hello. Okay, I think we're working well, so let's keep going. Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hey Spiros, how are you doing? Hey KLE, KLE. Okay, working, yes, yes, yes. Hey Ayakame, good afternoon, good to see you. How's everyone doing? If you are watching right now, you can hear me okay, you can see me all right, put it into the chat, let me know. Say hi, let me know where you're joining me from, we'd love to find out. And for all the regulars, I kind of remember where you are. Thank you for joining me on this daily market analysis again. We'll give it a minute before we get started. I want to check and make sure everything's good. Okay, works well. Alrighty, we got everything. Okay. Hey Diana, how are you doing? Good morning. Alright, so again, thank you all for joining me on this daily market analysis where we look at the fundamentals, the technicals, and look for some possible trade setups. It's been a little bit of a quiet market, or well, retracing markets since yesterday. And we'll look at what could happen for today. So again, if you can help me out massively, do remember to click the like and subscribe button, that little thumbs up button on YouTube. That would help massively to get more people onto the session. And if you haven't already, the link is there for the Discord channel. You can feel free to join us on Discord as well. With that said, if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put into the chat and let me know. We are streaming across multiple different platforms. So wherever you are, whichever platform you're on, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're here and you're ready to go. Okay. Then, with that said, a quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Short and sharp. Now, anyone had any interesting trades they got into last night or yesterday? Put it into the chat and let me know. I only had my euro that moved a little bit, no, the pound that moved a little bit. Quite happy I closed out on that, and nothing much, nothing else, right? What we're seeing right now, or since yesterday, we did see that push up on the dollar index. It is trading back down right now, looking like it's breaking below this 23.6 level. So remember I was saying yesterday, if it needs to stay above 103.25, which is right there, to remain bullish. With this pushing back down, looking, not yet, almost, but looking like it might trade lower again. Hey Pips Apprentice, how you doing? Hey Goju, good morning. Then let's do a quick review of what happened. if you remember correctly, and I was just checking this, I was trying to capture that part of the video, but just didn't seem to work, was that yesterday we did have the US retail sales number being released. If you remember correctly, we were talking about this was 0.3%, expected 0.4. I was saying that, hey, it might be a 0.5, even a 0.6. So I was very glad that it came out at 0.6%, while retail sales went a bit higher than I expected. I was thinking, or yesterday we were talking about this, that it might get to a 0.3. It went up to a 0.4%. All right. So this was released at 9:30 p.m. GMT plus 8 last night. On release of the retail sales number for the US, it was pretty much as we expected. You can see, I'll zoom in a bit here, and you can see that at 9, right there, right? At 9, we did see the dollar push down and bounce back up. I was a little bit, on hindsight, and now on hindsight, 2020 hindsight, probably was a little bit too ambitious, thinking that the dollar index could, on a relatively slow night, could trade from that 103.50 level up towards 104. Right, so it actually went from 103.35, bounced up, went up to 103.60, almost 103.70 before trading back down. So we did see that strength on the dollar index before pushing back down again right now. Take that away. With that, after it shot up, then the dollar index came back down because there wasn't any big news to sustain that push, and also there was a news. You can see the euro dollar came down, sat around that point before pushing back up again, right? Oh, let me change that, sorry. Go back to that one. Yep. Sorry, let me do that. Okay. So the euro dollar, we were looking for that to test and push back down. It came down at 9, and then at 10 it pushed right back up, and that's why this is one of the main reason why this retracement or recovery on the euro dollar is the main reason why we're seeing that dollar index push to the downside. All right, that's why we're seeing it push to the downside. Why is it pushing up? Why is the euro dollar pushing up? It's really because of, I was just looking at this. Where was it? Let me see. There, not that one. I was doing the, I was looking at it when it was being released. Okay, I don't see it now, but there was talk that it's not that one either. There was talk that, as much as the markets were anticipating, right? They've been talking about the FOMC, the Federal Reserve, cutting interest rates coming up, or with the interest rates cut possibly coming up soon. Show you that as well. All right, so the dollar index, when it loads, right, we know that in January, it's still at about that 97.4%. A day ago it was 96.9. It's just slowly creeping towards confirming that it's going to stay at that level. But you see that in March, it was 60, just one day ago it was 63.1% chance, now it's 59. A week ago it was 70% chance that they will cut rates, now it's 59, right? So there has been a relatively big shift on relatively big shift on the timeline on the next rate cut to come from the US. That's also being applied, or that's being reflected in the ECB as well. markets were anticipating that the ECB could cut rates in March, right? They could cut rates in March. There was a statement out from one of the ECB members that the Feds are possibly, or that rate cuts were more likely to begin in summer months, which is more like the middle of the year, right? So it's been pushed back again. And because it's been pushed back, that's why we see the euro dollar recovering, pushing back up again on that timeline. So that recovery led to, or is leading the dollar index to push lower. Okay, does that make sense so far? Just one of the other reasons that I can piece together to kind of explain why the dollar index is pushing back down right now. Okay, with no major news, or rather despite good retail sales number from yesterday. Right, despite good retail sales number from yesterday, we saw the dollar index push up, and then after it come back down. It's really because of the comments. I think it was this one. Was it here? Yeah, it says aggressive rate cut bets don't help the ECB. Inflation isn't where ECB wants it. Confident it'll reach. Right? So those kind of comments pushing the timeline out on the ECB rate cuts. Good morning, Angel Case. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Then, with that, what do we have today? Early this morning. I missed this. I was still, I wasn't asleep. I was busy with something else. So I missed trading or trying to catch a move on the Aussie. And quite fortunately, did not catch this move because, again, if you remember, we were expecting that to maybe be that 15, maybe 20K number. It's gone the opposite way, right? It's gone the opposite. It's gone from, if you look at this, 61.5 revised up to 72.6. Expected 15.4 got released at minus 65.1. It was a huge move, right? It's gone past yesterday's, oh well, not yesterday, the previous one, and then after that gone back down to minus 65.1, while in the meantime unemployment rate stayed at 3.9%, right? Stayed at 3.9%. With that news release, you'd see that the Aussie dollar, on release of the news, spiked down briefly, right? Spiked down. It was sitting at 6552 or 6550, came down to about 6525, right? Came down to about 6525 and then went back up again. I'll show it to you in a 15-minute time frame. This was the news, right? This, I'll put it one before. This candle was the news. So it just went news release, minus 65,000 employment change. Unemployment rate stayed at 3.9%. Aussie dollar spiked down. And then, because it was way outside the Bollinger, it went back up again, right? Went back up again. So that's one reason why I said I was quite fortunate I didn't catch, wasn't able to trade during that news, because what would have happened is that, again back to the 15, so I'm just switching around charts. What would have happened on that news release is that, I would have looked at that and I would say, oh great, minus 65, look to sell it down and then go into the charts. If I wouldn't have caught that move, right? I wouldn't have caught it there because that's when it was released. I would have caught it slightly later, right? And during that news move, it might have caught it way down there, came down a little bit more before pushing right back up again. So I would have lost, if I were trading during that news event, I would have lost my trade. I would have probably done something like that. And it's near the support, so I wouldn't have done it anyway. You know, you'd go a 30 pip, you'd go a 20 pips stop loss, 40 pip take profit or something. And then it would have spiked down, looked like I was going to make money, and then went straight back up and hit me for my stop. So I was very fortunate not to get onto that. Anyone traded the Aussie dollar on the news release? Let me know. I hope you didn't, because I don't know many people who would be able to navigate that spike and quick retrace. Okay, so let me know. And then B Bali said running gold or running silver and gold, take profit. Okay, we'll have a look at that shortly. Well, no, it's not. Unfortunately, not. It's a good thing you didn't catch the Aussie, because I think that most, or if not everyone, who would be trading that news event would have been caught out. So I think that was a good thing. Probably for you guys, you know, being super early in the morning for you all would probably be even less likely that you trade that. Then, with that, not much else. Diana says, no way I'm going to trade at night. Oh yeah, what time is it? 8 o'clock would be 4 a.m. Yeah, it's... Oh yeah, it'd be way too early. Not worth staying up for that. But hey, it's a good place. Where you are, Diana, is a good place to be trading the US sessions. Good timing. Okay, so we have this. Back to this. World Economic Forum is still ongoing. Bank of England, credit no. SMB at the WEF, or change. What next for monetary policy? That would be interesting. That would be... Oh, sorry. Hang on, what's happening? Falling a bit. Okay. That's going to be interesting with the Swiss National Bank chairman speaking at the what next for monetary policy. Typically, I would say that it's not going to do too much, but with the Swiss National Bank, you never know. With the Swiss National Bank, you never know. So just be a bit careful there at 6:30 GMT plus 8. ECB monetary policy meeting accounts, FOMC member. I don't think that's going to do too much. Unemployment claims, this is a weekly number. Not a big change. And then President Lagarde speaking at the Uniting Europe's Markets at the World Economic Forum again. I think she's going to be a little bit hawkish but cautious. Very similar to what happened on yesterday. Hang on a second, I'm sniffing like mad. Okay. Then on to Friday, we have retail sales number for the UK, 3 p.m. I'll guide you through that tomorrow as well, but a bit surprising that we're thinking it'll go from 1.3 to minus 0.5. Again, maybe looking at a bit of an upward tick on the retail sales number for the UK, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, so for today, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a wait for retracement to end kind of day. You know what I mean by that? What I mean by that, looking at the charts here, is that, taking that away for now, it's a wait. What I mean by wait for retracement to end, this is that big move to the upside, right? What we're waiting for is this retracement to end, and then hopefully or ideally a continuation back up. Okay, so if I adjust this level, 38.2 is right there. This one needs to be down there. So it came down about that point. It's quite close, it's still quite close to that 103.25 level, right? It's 103.21 right now. What I'm looking for, right? There's no major drivers on for the dollar index at this point in time, right? No major drivers. Economic outlook. I'm just trying to figure out where do we think the dollar could go. What I would like to see, all right, based on yesterday's move, is that push up, look for that to retrace that level there, bounce off and push back up. But we do have that resistance level holding quite strong. Okay, we do have that resistance level, and this is a bit of a dangerous area right now, is because what could happen is it does that, and then you would have a shoulder, head, and shoulder pattern there. Something to watch out for there. Okay, but what I would be looking for, a bit of an upward move on Pips Apprentice is heading back into the range. No, the range was here. So this was that range. This looks like it's forming a new range, a range slightly higher. Just say 103.10, 102.90. Yeah, I'm actually thinking a little bit higher. I think that if it does retrace, right, complete its retracement. Yeah, see, we said yesterday that it could push down to 103.30 before pushing higher. So 103.30 is about right there. So it just broke a little bit. I would say that dollar index is wait for retracement to complete. Could retest 103.50. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. 30 minutes is under the 50 EMA, quite likely, but what we're looking at is on the, so sometimes when you look at a smaller time frame, it would be below levels, but smaller time frames are going to be a bit more noisy. We're still looking at the larger time frame on the H1 time frame here. If I put in just the moving average, you see that this is the, I don't know what's this. This is the, no. What am I doing? 20. Let's just put the 20 in there first. You see that it's just below, but it's coming back up. I don't like using the SMA or EMAs. I would say, yeah, wait for the retracement to complete. There is still that move. I'll still factor in that move back up towards 103.50. So it looks like a bounce of this level back up towards this resistance level. 103.20 broken again. 103.20, yeah, it's coming back down a little bit. So I want to see what happens here. Obviously, like we said yesterday, if it's below 103.25, it's there. So it's a bit weak right now, right, in this area. If it breaks down, then I would say like what Pips Apprentice is saying, and Habib Bali is saying that it could come back into this range, which I wouldn't like, which I would not like. I want to see that bounce. Okay, I'll keep that view. I was thinking initially that, could it come back down into here and stay within that range? But yeah, I think that I would like to see that candle close, and then we could see that push back up. Okay, waiting for the H1 candle. Yes, we are. This is mostly on the intraday time frame, so we are waiting for candles to close out first. Okay, so with that, I like the look of that before pushing back up. Okay, I like the look of that. Then onto the Kiwi dollar. Came down, bounced, hit support level, hit the support level and bounced. Right back up. It did, if you look at that, it came right back up to that 23.6 level, looking like it's going to push, complete that retracement, could push back down 6080, same thing like we were looking at yesterday. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't be looking to buy it back up. I'll be looking at that, holding, pushing back down. That's why I'm thinking that dollar strength might come back in, break below 6090. So I'll be looking 6080, stop loss 20, take profit 70 to the downside. I'll maintain that view on the Kiwi dollar. Okay. Today might be a lot of maintaining the views and just waiting, right? Where like I was telling you at the start, it's looking for the retracement to complete before a continuation. No big reason why we should be looking at a change of trend right now. Aussie dollar, same thing, right? Did not break that support. So yesterday's trade did not trigger. If I drag that down just to catch this whole move from the top right down to the bottom here, I don't need this. It came up close to 23.6 again. So tested this area and now consolidating. That move could be a good pre-indicator of what could happen next. Right? So it came down, tested this support, went up, came down, grabbed that liquidity or whatever it is there. Tested this support again, pushed back up. Now looking like it could push back down. Okay, again with that support here, wouldn't try and get in before that. I would say it needs to break below 6525. So my entry will be 65115. Stop loss 20, take profit 50. I'm going to keep it the same. 6515. Stop loss 20, take profit 50. If I'm going to keep everything the same, it looks like it's going to be a short and sharp analysis session today. I know Diana is going to be asking about the Swiss yen. If you have any questions about any other particular currency pairs, put it into the chat and let me know as well. Hey OJ Meds, how are you doing? Hey Iso Ching, how are you doing? Good morning, Happy New Year. Good morning, OJ Meds. Diana says, in my opinion, Kiwi will go up to daily fair value gap to the level of 6170. Let me see that. 6170 is about right there. It could, I mean, yes, it could push there. I think that it might be a little bit too far. The only hesitation I have with that is that it might be a little bit too far, right? So that's 6180. So about there. So what Diana is saying is that we could see Kiwi come up to that point before pushing back down again. I think that if the Kiwi dollar does push up to this point, to that point there, momentum might push it all the way up towards the resistance. right? So the reason why it would go up, or the driver behind the Kiwi dollar pushing higher, would have to be because of dollar weakness. Would have to be because dollar is going to push to the downside here. And I mean, it could happen, but I don't see any big reason why that should happen at this point. So because of that, I think that, yes, not ruling out that chance, but even if it does push up, I'll still be up. I would like for it to push up, then I would sell it down again. But I think more likely we're going to see it sit around this area, push down, break, and then we can sell it down. Okay? Yeah, so retrace up. So complete its retrace, go up, hit the resistance area, turn down, look to sell, or sit in a consolidation, break down, look to sell. Okay, so with that, then on to the yen. Super disappointed on that. It pushed up on the news, went up, and very similar to the dollar index, came right back down again. So that did not trigger again. And what would have been very interesting is that it was starting to break, right? Just today on that move there, it was starting to break that upward trend line on the US yen, right? Came right back down. It hit 148.50 and then traded back down. I don't think, I wouldn't be looking to sell the yen right back down now because of that recent move up. That point is there. I would be happy with that point there. That's catching this top here. That's catching this top here, and also this top here, right? So what would be good? What would be good is if we see it come down, test the support, and bounce back up. Then I would love to be buying it up 147.60, stop loss 30, take profit 100 or 90 to the upside. I would like that trade. This would be my kind of favorite textbook kind of trade. All right. But what I think is likely to happen is going to sit there with the way the dollar index is moving. That's going to push up. So I wouldn't do anything at this point. I would only be looking to buy it up if it breaks above 148.70. Stop loss 30 pips. Take profit again 100 to the upside. 148.70. We have that one. 30 pip stop. 100 pip take. There we go. Right, so we're looking at that. Sit there, break back up, then looking to buy it back up. Alternative is that one as well. Yeah, Hubby Bali, how are you doing? Well, catch you again on the next session. Oh, Johnny Cash said there's an echo. I have no idea how to fix that. Okay, let's try that. I'll reduce it down a bit, so maybe that's gonna hopefully not lead to an echo. Okay. Now, thanks for the feedback there, Johnny Cash. Pound dollar. All right, so this move, we talked about this. Go up, test, reject, and sell it back down. All right, I did that. I moved that right across. I did that. Test came down. This was the news. We saw the dollar strengthen. So the pound dollar sold off. Tested that 50% level. Remember, we were talking about that, and then push right back down. What I did was I caught about 30 something pips on that, because on the 15-minute time frame, what we saw, thanks for the diamonds and the rose, Johnny Cash. What we saw on that was that move. Where was it? No, it wasn't this one. Oh no. Okay, I'll tell you what I did here. I remember. Pound dollar tested, push right back down. This was the news that we saw it turn down. So I saw it test as it pushed down. I was getting in before the news, and then it came down to that point. Where was it? 15. It came down to this level here. About that point that I looked, and I saw that test, tried to break, and then turned back up, got out of the trade at about that 32 pips, I think, as it was pushing back up. All right, so that was my pound dollar trade from yesterday. Take all that away. Yeah, I saw that point where it tested, broke lower, and then after that pushed back up, and I thought, you know, better get out of that. If check 15-minute chart is pattern and break, for which pair is that, Jamil? I think you're talking about the pound dollar. So what I'm looking at again on the pound dollar, because what happened from yesterday was that it went up, tested, broke down, right? Push back up again. The view is still the same. Because that 50% level was rejected, it came back up to test. And take all that away. 61.8 is still there. Looking for that to break to the downside. What I would be looking for here, so it needs to break down. Before I can see it go lower, right? It needs to break down before I can see it go lower. Prince Philip OG said, took exactly that pound trade, but out at break even. Yeah, it was quite quick. It came down, bounced right back up. So if you were not looking, it would catch you out. Jamil took a loss yesterday. It's okay. It's only, I've only heard you take that loss one day, so you're doing fine. Diana, pound on daily time frame, watch to go to 1.2710 fair value. See the reaction from there. If it holds that area, and if DXY is strong, look for a short. 1.2710, yes, that is very close to that 61.8 level. I think there'll be two places to look out for. Right? I think there'll be two places to look out for. With the way it reacted, I think that there might be the chance, if the dollar index continues to push higher, that we could see the pound dollar break 1.2675, stop loss 20, 30 pips. Take profit could go down to that 60, right? Or it could come up to that point, like you're saying, Diana, 1.2713. Still wouldn't. So what happens if it goes up is I wouldn't do anything unless it breaks down from that trend line. Unless it breaks the trend line. And because of all that areas there, I would still want it to break below that point before I sell it down. So I think that, well, this is trying to be a little bit safer, is that I think that, you know, a bit of an aggressive entry, be trying to get in earlier, that point. The safer one, safer view, but not, it's never 100%, but safer view, I think, is to get in at, as it breaks that point there. Okay, so yes, it could do this down, or this down, I'll still be looking at selling at that point. So 1.2675, 30 to 60, 1.2675. Oh, okay. I'm losing my mind today. There we go. Sell 1.2675. Stop loss 30. Take profit 60 to the downside. Yep. Okay, I'll be happy with that. Then onto the euro. Look at that. We wanted to test and break down. It went down, took so long before it tested. Looks like now it might break down. I just did a post. You see here on the bearish flag. We've been talking about the bearish flag, so I just put a post together on the bearish flag for the euro. All right. So you can check that out on my TradingView profile. Now with that flag broken, it bounced up to retest, and I do think I would anticipate that we could see that break lower. So I would still maintain that same point, 1.0880, 20 to 60. Okay, I'll keep that one. Camille is saying 1.2705 pound dollar is a point to take a buy. 1.2705. Where my stop loss is, where my stop loss would be if I got into a trade. I will put it a little bit higher. I would say if you're looking to buy, only if it breaks above 1.2715 or 1.2720 before looking to buy it back up. But I would be cautious. I would be very cautious if you're looking to buy it back up. Johnny Cash asking what's my view on gold. We'll get to gold shortly. So we just did euro, which I think that it's done that. So we look for that to come back down. Then onto the Swiss. No worries, Johnny Cash. Then onto the Swiss. Did not bounce, it pushed up, same like the dollar index, pushed up, retraced right back down again. So take that away. Now, like we're expecting the dollar index to push up. So naturally, with that relationship between the dollar index and the Swiss, we should be looking for this to push up as well. I'm just thinking whether to plan for an alternate scenario. Don't think so. So that's going to likely push higher. 0.8660. Stop loss 25. Take profit 45 up. No worries, Diana. You're most welcome. As per every day. Glad that you're here. 50, 25, push up. We need to see the dollar strength, okay? We need to see that dollar strength to lead this up. If not, could reject and turn down, wouldn't do anything there. So US Swiss franc 8660, 25 to 50. 8660, 25 to 50, right? So we're looking at the Swiss possibly pushing up because of their dollar strength. Again, with the US yen broken that level, but looking like it could push up depending on the dollar index. Still sitting that, I'll zoom it in, you see, it's still sitting in that consolidation area there. So we're not 100% decided on the dollar yet. So US yen looking a bit undecided, sitting at that point, depending on the dollar index. Sweezy as well, just below resistance depending on the dollar index. Looking at the Swiss yen, we're looking for that move. That didn't play out, so we take that one away. Remember again, this is that major high level, major high level. So I'm actually now considering if this can push lower. If this can push lower with that top and with that rejection, this US Swiss franc pushing higher is going to mean Swiss franc weakness. Together with that possibly pushing higher would mean yen weakness, you know, or if that pushes down, dollar index gets weaker, that pushes down. See, that's retracing now. And then, so if that pushes down, that sits there or pushes lower, then we might see that sit in this area and could break lower. I'm just thinking, okay, so what I'm thinking right now is I'm thinking that, I'm thinking between, is the yen going to move faster or is the Swiss going to move faster? Because whichever is going to move faster is going to drive, not faster, move with more impact, more volatility, right? It's going to drive that Swiss yen. I would actually be possibly looking to think of 170.65, 66, 20 to 80 to the downside. I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking that that might be the case. All right. We can take those away. It came down to that 50. So if it retraces back down, breaks below 50, we could see that. Okay, so Swiss yen. One option is thinking that it could go from 170.66, 20 pips stop loss, 80 pips take profit to the downside. Must wait for it to break that support. Must wait to see what happens on the dollar index. Then with that USCAD, again, that did not happen. I think yesterday I was trying to be a bit too safe, so I had my entry levels a bit too far away. What you notice here though, what you should notice here is that, right, catch that whole move. That point is a fair point. That's a fair point here. That almost looks like we might have a head and missing a shoulder right there. So that might be that setup. And why I'm looking at that potential setup is if you zoom right out, the last time we got there was 14th of December, where we saw a big drop from this point on. So I'm thinking that, hey, could we see, move that right there, right? That head and shoulder with that neckline area there, maybe pushing back down. Maybe pushing back down. So I'll put that as an alternate view. If we see that dollar weakness come around, that could drag. I know we do have natural gas to be released, minus 140, minus 166. Could see that push down. You know, I'm thinking as an alternative view here onto the US CAD, 1.3460. Stop loss could be about that 20 pips. Take profit almost 60 pips to the downside with that head and shoulder pattern. So what might happen is you do that. That's what I'll be looking out for, okay? So 1.3460, that's an alternate view here. We look to sell at 1.3460, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside. 60 to the downside. Okay, there we go. Then, now with that, happy? Oh, good. Diana says, awesome, thank you. Has a similar view on the Swiss yen. Good. I love it when we have similar views. That always helps. Okay, let me just double check. Again, remember, if you can help me out, do remember to click that like and subscribe button, please. OJ Mets, OJ Mets is asking about pound yen. We can do that. Let me get to gold and we'll do pound yen. O2 Jazzy saying, can you tell me what chart you use on TradingView? I use the, what is it? Where does it come up? There we go. I use the O-ender charts. Okay, I just use it as a pricing. I'm not really bothered by it. The odd thing was, I think for last year, I was on the FXCM charts, and then the new year, for the first couple of days, it didn't load. The prices didn't load. So I had to go in and clear all the charts and use new charts or load new charts, and I loaded the O-ender ones. Okay, O2 Jazzy, hope to answer your questions there. Then now we do a look at the gold. Okay, gold, we said this, look at that. Yesterday we said gold break 2018 down to 2007, broke 2018 straight down to 2007, set right there. So that played out like a charm. I was scalping that down. On gold. Now that it's found 2007, looking like it's pushing back up. I'm skeptical that it could retrace all the way. Right? Why it's pushing back down? Hey, we saw the dollar index being weaker right now, but it looks like we might have a bit of a resistance at this point. All right, at 2017, which coincides with that 23.6 level, right? Which coincides with 23.6 level. So I would say that what's likely, you can see this whole upward trend line is valid, it's holding. We've done 38.2, we have 50 as the next big support. Okay, we've done all of that. We have this point here. Oh, we have that big line there. I'll take that away for now. Okay, so we're looking at the dollar index pushing back up. If the dollar index pushes back up, that's going to mean that gold could turn back down, right? So in that case, what I'll be looking for on gold, a retrace, test and reject of that resistance, right? And you see that there is a bit of a gap here as well. So it could do that and turn back down, right? So reject 2017 to turn back down to 2004. We can, and I don't need that. I have this point here. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. I think it could climb up a little bit more to 2020. Okay, so this is what we'll be looking out for on gold would be that we are going to look for wait for retracement to complete. Needs to test reject resistance of 2017 and trade down to 2003. Okay, test reject 2017 trade to trade down to 2003. Someone on TikTok is asking, is this supply and demand? In some version, not exactly supply. I think I know what you're asking about. Not exactly supply and demand, but in some version, yeah, I think you can attribute that to it. So yeah, push up, grab some liquidity, and because of that gap, and then push right back down again. So that's what I'll be looking out for. Diana just asked, if there is no big news for DXY, what factors will push it up in general? If there's no big news, there'll be two main things that I would consider is the previous trend, right? Came down, tested a support and a technical level, and then pushed back up. So it'd be trend. Second one would be not a big news for the DXY, but a big news for other pairs. Other currency pairs could drive, right? A weakness on what we saw last night, recovery in strength on the euro could drive the dollar index back down, right? So maybe weakness across the other pairs could drive the dollar index back up again. Okay, hope I answered your question there, Diana. Good question, very good question. And then lucky last, we'll do pound yen. Where is it? That pound yen there. For 02 Chezi. Broke up to the upside. We talked about that. That worked out well. Take that away for now. I don't need any of this. That's pushing higher. Remember, again, yen possibly pushing up. Pound dollar, we're looking for that to push, to break and push down. Maybe a little bit of upside for pushing down. So looking at a pound yen, you see that we have a big resistance up here. Catch something down here. Right, so it's at a resistance. What I would best suggest, just because of what has happened here and here on the pound yen, what I would best suggest on the pound yen would be to look for that kind of move, right? Because it is pushing up, it's sitting in that little bit of a channel. Look for it to test 188.30, reject, and then we could look to sell it back down because it's so high. You'd be looking for maybe below 188, stop loss 40, 50 pips, take profit. I don't see a big reason why it should go 180 to the downside, but that's a level there. I would also consider somewhere there to start off as well. So you have about 1:2 to the downside, but look for that test and reject to sell it back down. Okay, 02 Jazzy, hope I answered your question there on the pound yen. And for Johnny Cash, thank you for the rose, and someone left a diamond and gifters. I'm super new to streaming on TikTok, so thank you for joining me on that and leaving gift. Hope I answered your question there on gold. Any further questions? You're most welcome, OJ Mids. RSI on GU is overbought on the daily time frame. Let's have a look at that. Ooh. No, not overbought. Still in the middle. Still in the middle there. That's why we think that, I think Jamil is saying could push back up. I think on the H1 it looks like it's turning back down again. I think you guys, Jamil and Diana, you're identifying these levels. It might have a bit more retracement, so that could happen as well. But I'll still look for the entry at that point. Okay. I don't like trying to guess where retracement could get to. It's just a bit of a wild guess. Alrighty. So with that, please remember, help me out. Click that like and subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Make sure you do that, especially on TikTok, and the link is there for you guys. Do join us on our Discord channel. You're most welcome there, Johnny Cash. And with that said, thank you all so much. Please trade well, trade safe. Maybe have no trades. Sit it out. Sitting is a good option sometimes. And then with that, I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.